Serves Adar right, though. Like, if something exploded upon dying that caused an ice age, I would never assume that they were dead. It's your girl Yisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I am back. It has been a minute, but I am back, and we are back with the second season of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. I have been away for a moment, but I appreciate y'all's patience. As you can see, there's been some changes here. Yeah, just had to deal with life, and I had to take a little break, but I am back, and I'm so happy that this show is back, because I very much enjoyed the first season. I know that it definitely got some mixed reviews, but I thought it was a fun ride. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring us in season 2. So I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember a lot of how we ended the last season outside of figuring out who Sauron is. And I believe that, oh goodness, who is our resident female elf? I can't think of her name right now, but yes, her figuring out that her long lost love may not have been the man that she thought he was. But there was a lot of things that happened, honestly. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a recap at the beginning of the show, so that will help catch me up. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this intro. We're going to jump right in, but just before I do, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoy your time here and you enjoy watching videos that I make. I react to all kinds of good stuff. And if you'd like to be in the know of when I drop more of the episodes for this show or anything else that I might be doing, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can be in the know. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's jump right into season 2, episode 1, which is called 11 Kings Under the Sky right now. It's very dark. It's very, very dark. Now, I would say that's a sexy crown, but I'd be lying.
Your new master, Sauron.
I mean, the hair's glorious. I don't know. The crown, not so much, but the crown, the hair is nice.
One we shall use to enslave the peoples of Middle-earth to our very will.
Don't like that word.
Many orcs will die.
I mean, it's for the best.
By bringing its peoples together to rule them all as one.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't have brought the whole all the orcs are gonna die part out till later. Like maybe like much later when they were about to die, maybe. Too slow. Well, it's nice to know he doesn't get too bitter about these things. Anyways, it's like back to my beautiful perm.
I am your only future!
Ooh.
Who among you dare say otherwise?
Perhaps not today. I mean, maybe if y'all actually tried smiling for once, y'all wouldn't be so feared. And maybe stop drooling. And that's why you don't get such a pointy crown, folks. See, if it was made one of those fluffy ones like they have in Europe, might have gone a lot better. That's a lot. You managed to take all these people down, Sauron. I'm gonna have to give you your 10s. Okay, so that's what Burnface there remembers happening. Really? A kick? You low-key scared. Damn! Not him bringing on a whole ice age. Sauron was no joke. He said, if I go, y'all go. And it's crazy that you thought he was dead after that. That's an expulsion of power. That doesn't mean it's gone. Body's gone? Yeah. Foolish. You thought he was gone. Alright, well, guess the perm wasn't enough to save you. Blood's been running for 40 days and 40 nights. Where are we? That's so deep yet still gets light. That's what I want to know. Someone's gonna eat you. Told you to stay away. Curiosity quite literally kills, well, the mouse in this case. Alright, so he survived off of rats and bugs. Serves Adar right, though. Like, if something exploded upon dying that caused an ice age, I would never assume that they were dead. Oh, the surface. Oh, at last. Maybe we should have stayed in the caves. Maybe until we got less hair everywhere. It kind of looks like if all the stuff that gets like clogged sinks in bathtubs got together as one big mass and moved. Oh, he's gonna eat you, isn't he? Oh, that was on purpose. I can't even blame that one on you, sis. It's not like you even trying to figure out what that was about. Good for you, horse. Damn, bro. Your nuts must be up in your chest right now, being naked in that cold. What, are you feeling emotional about the betrayal of the race that you were telling we're going to have to be sacrifices for your new world order? I don't even like works like that, but I get it.
A sure path may crumble, but there's always another. Often, it can lead us someplace better. Someplace good.
Oh, you sweet man. This man has nothing but blackness in his heart, quite literally.
Come with us if you like. Or walk on.
Jog on. So is this the sea that got attacked before he... Yeah, before he came across Galadriel. Okay. I thought we were going to have like a whole spell of his life beforehand, but I guess there wasn't much time.
Nightmares again. What haunts you so?
If I begun to tell you, sir, you'd have nightmares too.
Because you have chosen good.
But what of tomorrow?
Yeah,
You have to choose it again.
very true.
Help me!
Aww. Will he? That's the question. He chooses evil again. You go face to face with this guy and be like, oh, which one of us is the bigger monster? Let's see. Sauron said, bite me, I dare you.
The tides of fate are flowing. Yours may be heading in. Or out.
Interesting. Well, that was quite the intro. We now know what happened to Sauron that led up to what we saw in season 1. Don't feel sorry for him, but I will give him this. He's definitely tenacious. Tenacious. Both. Ooh, the colors. That cloak is everything I wanted. Immediately.
Here's not what I thought,
That's not an answer.
which is the reason I did what I did.
Why do you dance so to avoid revealing?
Exactly. It doesn't help your case.
Appearing in fair form to hide his true self.
A simple one-word answer would suffice. A name.
Yes, Sauron.
Thank you.
I was deceived.
No, Galadriel, you were blind. Blinded by your own pride.
Not wrong.
The rings. Show them to me.
We dare not use them, High King.
Respectfully, sir, you have enough.
If we leave now, the peoples of Middle-earth will be left to suffer under the tyranny of a new dark
I mean, it sounds like a them problem, if you're asking me.
Sauron has not yet amassed that degree of power. These rings may be how he attains it.
They must be destroyed.
That
You're not wrong about that.
the rings, Elrond.
Ah, this sucks because Elrond's right. Pitch them into the sea!
Genplot.
Fly, you fool!
No!
Elrond can take some chances when he's ready too, Galadriel. He was right, though. Of course, he didn't have enough, backing to say it or to prove it, but he was absolutely right. Exactly what he said. The fact that he was party to making the rings already should have let them know we can't use them.
You swear allegiance to Adar, Lord Father of the Orcs.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Oh, okay. Guess we got an answer quick out here.
Let my people go.
Let my people go.
Or yours will die.
Ooh, big talk. It's kind of hot.
There is no one left for us to fear.
Oh,
There is
famous
one.
last words.
You will tell me everything you think you know of this sorcerer.
I mean, if I die, I can't tell
I
you.
die.
Right? Like, I don't think you
Dies with me.
did the calculations on that one, bro.
Sauron could never return, could he? No.
Now you're getting nervous? Now? Bad time for those types of doubts, friend. Yep. You worried, aren't you? You should be. The arrogance of you. Even Galadriel wasn't arrogant enough to think Sauron was dead. Is our favorite drunken wizard? If that's the case, where's Nori? Okay.
Got that look in your eye.
That vacant expression he's had since season 1? Who this now? That is a sick mask. Skeletor.
Just admit it. We're lost.
Panic is the fool's meal, Lord. We would be wiser to sup on patience.
Ooh.
We haven't supped on anything since we ran out of snails.
That's hilarious. I like that illusion. But even in fantasy world, men refuse to ask for help when directions. Just admit you're lost, bro. She's like, can you do that tree thing again? Just a couple apples. Just a few.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, come on. Might bear some fruit. Least you could do is try.
Have you forgotten what happened when last I tried?
I mean, what are the chances of that happening again? You're starving and probably dehydrated. Okay, so not quite the result we were looking for, but good effort. Let's try again.
We'll eat for days.
Oh, bugs. Okay. Would have preferred fruit, but I guess when you're hungry, you can't be a chooser, right?
Nobody got hurt.
Lost control.
So you need to learn how not to.
Tree
lose
was
control.
old. Dry.
Strange how that which is left behind can be the heaviest burden to carry.
Bars.
I miss my home as well.
What is your home, by the way?
You don't even remember yours.
Doesn't mean he doesn't miss it.
You tell old Waldrick everything you know about Sauron.
You seriously should quit. You should quit your job, sir. You're supposed to be the resident torturer and you got scared from a look? Pack it in. Pack it in. He said, take it nicely. That's right. Sauron may look like a beast, but he's actually a beast tamer. Now y'all know.
Perfection exists only in Valinor.
Thank you, Master Círdan.
That's what's his name? I just watched Interview with the Vampire not long ago, so seeing him like this is quite the shift. Can't think of his name right now, though. That is a gorgeous shot. Once again, the cinematography in this show deserves awards, if nothing else, honestly. So beautiful.
You needn't hide any longer.
It's the bones of a mighty boat.
Please forgive the unexpected nature of my visit, but I have nowhere else to turn.
I think that's clear from your appearance.
He must be informed that Halbrand is Sauron. Move with haste and trust no stranger upon your path.
Cool. I want one of those. I don't even write with paper anymore, but I still want one.
I have yet to thank you for trusting me regarding the rings.
Trusting you.
I don't think he did.
I should have you thrown in fetters and cast to the Etten Moors for what you've done.
Then why have you not?
You're awfully bold, ma'am.
I will not stop until he is destroyed. And I have put this right.
I feel like that's the least you should do.
You would not be here now if I thought otherwise.
Elrond would seek out someone he can trust. Someone older, wiser, whose voice would command respect.
She knows you well, Elrond, just like he knew you.
I remember he used to speak of one day crafting objects of such power they could change the heart of any who beheld them.
And that he did.
We would be abandoning all Middle Earth to its fate. Could you accept that?
Actually, I can.
Means falling prey to the designs of the enemy.
Yes.
Damn, Elrond said, forget everyone else.
I failed enough of late, old friend. Help me succeed this time.
It's always about you, Galadriel.
With three, there is balance. Don't you remember? We chose this path together.
Don't try to manipulate me.
No, you chose it for me.
Elrond.
What so frightens you cannot consider the possibility of their corruption?
Being wrong. My pride. He ain't gonna throw him out. Those rings are addictive. And obviously we know from the Lord of the Rings movies that they didn't get destroyed this way. A trap. Something tells me whoever's following you may not fall for that. But let's see. I too am curious as to who's following you. You're a wizard! A rock? Really? Never mind. We don't need the rock. And it's a woman. She followed you? That's so cute.
You came after us. Wasn't so hard. You haven't exactly got.
I was about to say, geez, y'all are slow. Ooh, I love the transition to the map.
Come on. What are you waiting for? This is only the beginning.
She's fired up. Let's go. Okay, so, all right. Who's this now? Because I thought that, okay. Two people are following you. Because whoever's like this, I didn't think would be silly enough to fall for a trap. So obvious. Oh, there's multiple of them. This supposed to be the people that were trying to find him before, right? Not Sauron having PTSD.
Sauron has returned in a new form. I am not yet certain what shape he has taken.
Ooh, the playing in your face!
You vow allegiance to Adar,
This loser.
Lord Father of the Uruk.
He's going to kill you. He made a promise. It's like, sure.
Then kneel.
Can you do it, Sauron? Can you get on your knees for your servant that betrayed you?
I vow.
With your head at my feet.
Wow, this guy gets a real hard-on from this stuff, huh? You're gonna regret that.
I vow to serve the Lord of Mordor
Good word choice.
to the end of my days.
Very good word choice.
No, I'm going to kill you.
He is.
Is that right, Your Majesty?
Oh, that's what he's gonna set the dog up to do. Smart. He keeps his promises. I'll give that to Sauron. Oh my gosh, it's a black person. It's been ages. Can we hold the concert after we deliver the important messages? Okay. I guess y'all didn't have radios back then and stuff.
Our days in Middle-earth are ended.
Nope. Ben Daniel's gonna show up with them rings. Yep. Sorry, Elrond. Those rings have power. And in the end, elves are craven creatures. Oh, of course. One just happened to fall at Galadriel's feet. Just happened to.
Galadriel.
She's gone, bro. She's long gone. And you're just greedy. Look how many rings you already got, bro. Alright, well, for now, things look cool. You weren't wrong, Elrond. You just didn't have the right timing. Don't even act like you're sad. You never cared about what he thought anyway. It's funny holding this shot for so long. But you know, naturally, if you hold your hand out long enough, it starts to tremor.
Word from Lindon.
To the contrary, my lord. This messenger is from the Southlands.
He says he wants to negotiate.
Did he not get the message that this is Sauron? No?
Well, my lord, do we grant him entry?
I don't think you have much choice at this point, even if you do know. What an interesting ending shot. Okay. Well, that was episode 1. That was a lot. I forgot that they do some long episodes in this show, but that's good because we don't get as many. So I'm glad that they use up as much of that hour as they can. So yeah, we basically got to follow up from where we ended last season. I forgot a lot of what happened, honestly, because it's been like, what, 2 years, I think, since the last season aired. But anyway, basically we have Sauron, who is on his way. Well, he is in Mordor. And I think I'll just talk about the characters. It's kind of easier to go that way than to kind of summarize the whole episode. So we have Sauron, who returned to the scene of the crime. And in the beginning of the episode, actually, we finally got to see what happened that had everyone believing that Sauron had died, right? Because we know that rumor was floating around all first season, and everyone kept telling Galadriel she was crazy to think that he wasn't gone. And then even when Galadriel met Adar, and Adar's like, I killed him myself. So it was like, okay, everyone seems super convinced that this man is dead. So why? And so now seeing what happened, we see now why the orcs were so quick to turn on Sauron. And we got a little bit of that last season. Sorry, I got sun coming in my window, so it's got all over my face. But yeah, we saw that last season that Adar was very much a sympathizer for the orcs. He gave us a really good perspective as to the orcs' point of view and how they were created just to be hated and used and enslaved, and how he never agreed with that, and how he thought that Sauron made all these promises of a world where the orcs and everybody else would be able to live in harmony, or at the very least that the orcs would have their own place where they didn't have to be enslaved or ostracized by the other races. But then Sauron ended up turning on them, and we see in the beginning, that little snippet at the beginning, that Sauron basically was like, yeah, your lives are expendable because I have a plan and you guys are clearly at the bottom of the totem pole. And yeah, so some of you are going to die, whatever. But when it's all said and done, I'm going to decide what this new world's going to look like, right? And so understandably, the orcs were not down for that because they were doing all of this work. They were literally slaving away for Sauron, thinking that it's going to end in them having liberation and also, value being put on their lives. And then their very quote unquote saviors telling them once again that their lives are expendable, that they have to do whatever he says, including die for the cause because he said so. And so we see how he got betrayed, how Sauron was betrayed by Adar, and how he was very, very violently taken out by the by the orcs. And honestly, I don't really feel bad about that death because we saw the way he mercilessly killed that orc that attacked him. I mean, yes, the orc did attack him, but it's more the way he killed him, right? The way they stabbed him multiple times and kind of took pleasure in taking his life. It made it very clear he has little to no regard for them as anything to be valued. So anyways, knowing that, it kind of gives a little bit of background for us as viewers to know why the orcs turned on Sauron and why they believe he was dead. I mean, he was stabbed a lot. And then we see there was that big expulsion of power. I thought maybe he was, that bright light was him possibly moving to a different body or a different location. But we see that it was in his blood. His very blood seeped down to the bottom of the mountain that he was killed in. And we see he actually created like an ice age, which was crazy. Like, the amount of power in Sauron is terrifying. Let's just put it that way. But yes, we see that it was actually his blood that seeped down to the depths of the mountain, and slowly but surely he reformed himself, feeding off of whatever he could get to until he finally was able to get the strength to move back to the surface. And then he took on a new form because obviously the old one was pretty recognizable, at least by the orcs. Actually, did other people know? I'm assuming other people must have known how he looked as well. But anyway, that's how he reformed himself. And he had a moment where he met up with some humans, and they had that very interesting banter around, what makes a person good, what makes a person evil, why you should choose the path that you do. And we heard that old man basically tell him that, even if you've done bad in the past, you can choose to do good today. And then when Sauron said, well, what about tomorrow? He's like, well, then you choose it again and again and again till it becomes nature. And I think that was just a great, this episode, so many bars, whoever's on the writing team, They had so many bars this episode. But yeah, she's talking about how that's how we live our lives, right? All of us are faulty, right? All of us have made mistakes, but really what determines in the end whether or not we're quote unquote good or bad people is what choices we make day to day. Do you choose to be good, or do you make less than good choices? So anyways, we see that Sauron immediately chose evil again, unsurprisingly. But anyhow, so we kind of know why he's on his revenge plot there with Adar. But he went back, we see, to Mordor as the king of the South. And one thing he learned, I guess, from the betrayal and all that time he had to reform himself was that he thought he had the loyalty of the elves. And I guess to some degree he knew he didn't fully have them, but I guess he thought that his power and his influence and his long-term plan would be enough to convince them to follow him. And he discovered from that betrayal that no, that wasn't enough. What he's learned is that Adar has the ear and somewhat the hearts of the orcs, whereas he did not. And so even if he tried to go back now and forcibly take the orcs back, he can't, because they don't listen to him. And so for now, my prediction is that he's using Adar because he knows that Adar, like I said, has the ear of the orcs. And he's like, okay, Sauron is back. And I think I know the people who are going to be able to find him. So if you trust me, I will find out where he is for you, and I'll, make sure that I can tell you where to direct your armies to make sure he doesn't rise again. So basically, Sauron is doing exactly what he wants to do. He's still executing his plan, but he's using Adar as that middleman that he didn't really realize he needed to be the executioner of his plan, right? So he adapted, basically. And so him going through that torture, of course, at the hands of whoever that loser man was just hilarity, really. It's like, this man reformed himself from literal muck. I don't think you beating him in the stomach with a club a few times is going to be much. But anyhow, thought that was really interesting and smart at the end when Adar asked him to swear his fealty to him, and he chose the words of, "I swear allegiance to the Lord of Mordor," right? Didn't say Adar's name very specifically. He said the Lord of Mordor, who he considers himself to be. So smart words, and of course the smirk afterwards. So yes, now we've got Sauron, who is now going to basically, I think at this point, start to slowly but surely dismantle the footholds and strongholds of the elves, or at least send them the orcs in to start to weaken those things so that his plan will start to get into action. And obviously, when he thinks the time is right, he will reveal who he is. But for now, Adar is the middleman, and we'll see how long it takes for Adar to realize that this king is not what he thinks he is. But anyhow, so that was kind of Sauron. And then the other smaller part of the episode was Nori and the wizard. And we see that they haven't gotten very far at all, but because they got lost, and that the wizard is having all these flashes of different images. Honestly, they went too fast. I'd have to go back and see. I'm sure some of them are probably coming up in this season, and some of them potentially are just like seeds for story we'll get later. But he doesn't really want to talk about the images that he's seeing. They're definitely causing him distress. But Nori is very intuitive, and she already knows that he's being bothered by it. So I'm thinking at some point he will communicate some of it. He still doesn't know what it means, and I guess he's more scared. We know that he's scared of scaring Nori, right? Last season we saw how devastated he was at the idea that Nori didn't trust him or feared him last season. So I think he's just very terrified of putting himself in a position to scare her again, and that's why he doesn't want to be forthcoming. But hopefully he'll realize that Nori is past that now, right? She's to the point where she's like, I'm out here with you. Whatever happens, happens. Like, I'm not that scared. We saw that even when he blew up the dry tree for all the bugs. Like, he was so scared that Nori would be scared again. And she's like, it's fine. I know what to expect now, so we're good. So, yeah. And then we see that Nori's best friend joined them because they hadn't gotten far. But it's a good thing she did, because she reminded them. She brought more maps, first of all. And then she reminded them, I should say, that the songs that the Harfoots use to travel are actually not just plain old songs. They're actually navigational guides to get them through these different lands. And so thank goodness that she told them that, because they were able to finally navigate their way out of that desert. And they are now in Kun. So that's where the constellation is that he's been thinking of or seeing since he landed. So hopefully next episode, if we do follow them again, we'll see what's there and what's so special about that place, because I'm very curious as to what his story is, since it's not in fact Gandalf. I found that out between last episode or last season and now, that as much as I thought it is not Gandalf. So I'm very interested to figure out who this guy is, who is this wizard, and why did he end up as a big fat meteor in the middle of nowhere. So that was pretty much it with them. And then the other big storyline was Galadriel versus Elrond. So we see that Elrond from last season was not a fan of these rings. He's upset that Galadriel did not tell them the fact that she suspected that was Sauron, and then she discovered it was Sauron. He basically had to pull it out of her last season. I get why she didn't tell them. I mean, part of it was her pride, as I mentioned in the episode. She doesn't like being wrong, but also she was developing some feelings for Hallbrand. And she's embarrassed, quite frankly, that she let her emotions cloud what would have been probably some better critical thinking skills to figure out that this guy was not who she thought he was. I mean, obviously, I don't blame her, because who would have thought Sauron, right? That was like, none of them were aware of the fact that this man could regroup and completely transform himself into a completely different person. But all the same, that made him very suspicious of Galadriel. And then he also said the fact that we know that Hallbrand helped what's his name? The guy who made Celebrant. What can I think of his name? Anyways, the guy who made the rings, he helped him last season make the rings. And so understandably, Elrond has some very valid concerns. He's like, if he helped make these rings, we have no guarantee that his evil influence is not somehow woven into these rings, and that they're not all part of a greater plan for him to control us or to do worse. So we should destroy them. We shouldn't even use them. And since we still have the worksmen, like, he can make new ones that don't have anything to do with him. But of course, they were looking at this tree that's been rotting since last season. And the king of the elves also was like, look, we ain't got the kind of time to do all that. The rings are here now. We got to see if they work. And of course, Galadriel said that she felt like in her heart that these rings were fine. And again, I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is just, again, her pride. As she said to Elrond when she showed up at his master's house there, she's like, I've taken a lot of L's lately, Elrond. Help me get a win, right? So I think her pride is definitely affecting her mindset a lot here. And that's just been part of Galadriel's character. Even when you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, Galadriel was always a bit arrogant and a bit proud, and that's kind of one of her biggest weaknesses. But anyways, she and Elrond were at odds this whole episode because Elrond wanted to destroy them, but of course he didn't know how to do that. So he went to his master, who apparently is the oldest in Earth right now, in Middle Earth right now. And his master kind of heard the whole story and was like, all right, well, based on what you're saying, yeah, maybe it is best that we destroy the rings and, just take that whole option off the table. And then he asked a very valid question of him. He said, you realize that if we destroy these rings, then elves have to leave Middle Earth, otherwise we'll be trapped here. And that if we leave Middle Earth forever, then we're leaving all the other races, the dwarves, the hobbits, the humans, everybody else is like, we're leaving them to have to deal with this evil that is Sauron, because he will, like a fungus, like a disease, he will spread across the rest of Middle Earth and they will be overtaken. Are you okay with that? And we hear Elrond say that, yeah, he's like, if the alternative is succumbing to evil, the elven kind succumbing to evil, then he's willing to sacrifice Middle Earth. So that's where things are very dicey, right? I get where Elrond's coming from, and I do agree with some of his points, but I also get Galadriel not being okay with leaving Middle Earth to fend for themselves and to suffer at the hands of Sauron when there's possibly a way for the elves to stave it off. So, as I said, I get both of their points, but I have to, of course, lean towards Galadriel just in the sense of I don't think it's right for the elves, especially if there's ones who do want to stay and help, that they should just walk away and leave Middle Earth with this mess that really the elves created. So, yeah, I get where she's coming from there. But anyway, we see in the end that something stopped the master from throwing the rings into the water. And of course, once he touched the rings, we all know how it is with these rings. They put a spell on whoever's holding them. And he, of course, had to put one on and was refusing to part with it after that. So now all the rings are on each of them. We've got the king, we've got the master, and we've got Galadriel all wearing a ring. and Sauron, of course, still has his. And so they're on, and we see that the tree for now seems like it's healed itself, and the elves seem very understandably relieved. But I'm with Elrond. We know that it's not that simple. There's got to be more. And obviously, if we've watched the movies, which I have, or read the books, you know that Elrond's not completely wrong. He's not completely wrong in his fears of those rings and what they're capable of. So, as I said, he was right, but the timing was wrong. So we see at the end that he just basically just looked, he begged Galadriel not to put it on, but like I said, by the time she touched it, it was already over. And yeah, she wasn't willing to give it up at that point. So he walked away. And my guess is that, you know, their friendship, which was already very strained, let's be fair, I'd say it's safe to say that they're pretty much, they're donezo for now. But we'll have to see what Elrond will be up to going forward, because I don't think he's done with investigating or keeping his eye on what this ring is and what it might do. And then we saw the ending there where Sauron, after sweet talking his way out of Mordor, he's headed back to the ringsmith. And I am very curious because we know that the king sent off a messenger to tell the ringsmith of who Halbrand really was, but we have no idea at this point if he already got the messenger or not. My guess is it's a no, because the girl, remember he said, "Do we get message from Lyndon yet of whether or not the rings worked?" And she said, "No, it's from the south." So my guess is maybe Halbrand / Sauron beat the messenger, and he's going to get the ringsmith to either make something else for him, or he might just kill him. I'm thinking that too. You might just take him out because he doesn't want anybody to be able to make something that amazing again. So yeah, that's how we ended the episode. We have no idea whether or not he's going to let Halbrand in, but as I said, I don't think it much matters. I do think Sauron's got enough power to force his way into that stronghold if he so chooses. So yeah, I think that was a strong first episode. Getting that background on Sauron was great. And also just kind of seeing where we're moving forward. Everyone's got a ring now. Now it's kind of the next steps are to see what we do next. Now that these rings are on, do we now go for Sauron? Do we now try to find him? And what do we do? This cat and mouse game between Halbrand / Sauron and Galadriel begins again. But now Galadriel's got a little bit of extra pep in her step with this ring. So I'm excited for the rest of the season, guys. I think it was a strong beginning. I enjoyed it a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.